Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course.
Sure.
How does five?
You saw De La Hoya call him out.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are doing it.
The reason why you see David Benavides be so bold about what he's saying now, and it's not like he hasn't said stuff about Canelo before, he has, but you know, it's been tapered and it's been tempered. See, the frustration with David Benavides is he thought playing a political game was the best thing to get a Canelo fight, aka he thought being respectful and not saying nothing too outrageous about Canelo was the best way to go, because he didn't want Canelo to overlook him for any reason. So, you know, David Benavides played the nice game. And what people like David Benavides have to understand is they can't be afraid to go against Canelo Alvarez's fan base. See, a lot of these boxers are advised not to do that because Canelo fan base is so big. Some managers don't view it as good for business to irritate or piss his fan base off because it's so big, and that's the same fan base that you're going to have to share. So play lightly with Canelo. Don't be too disrespectful, A, B, and C. And they thought that he'll possibly get the fight. Now he see that that's not true at all, that he was always going to get spent. So now David can fully jump out the window and said what we all know and what the whole world knows and what we all have been known about Canelo for quite some time and had to accept. You know? Of course, without steroids and without favoritism and stuff like that, Canelo wouldn't got as far as he got. That is a fact. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt in anybody's mind. But since Canelo is more of catering to the Mexicans' feelings more than representing Mexico, he's something to make Mexicans feel good, you know what I'm saying, about themselves. But as far as being legit, it's not real. And the Mexican fan base copped it out for that. They didn't care if he was really legit. They knew that he was limited, but, you know, everybody want to have a Mayweather. That's really what it's about at the end of the day. Everybody want to have a Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? But you seeing David talk like that now because he figured all is lost and he's not getting the fight, and he's right. And this is stuff you should have said about Canelo. He should have been talking about Canelo like this from the beginning. You don't have to play nice with Canelo's fan base because you fear backlash, man. You know, I'm going to use the example in hip hop. A lot of people are reluctant to be honest about Eminem's status because they don't want backlash for telling the truth. So they all go along with the same program. Yeah, you know, he's the best, he's the GOAT. When almost none of the people that say that actually feel that way. It's just the best thing to say in front of a camera, because if they don't, they know that his fans will come out and attack you just based on that. So it's politically wise to always say Eminem is the GOAT, he's the best. Because if you ever real about the subject, well, then you're going to get attacked. And that's basically what happens in boxing. People are afraid to say the real about Canelo because they don't want the backlash and they don't want the hate and they want the acceptance. So people play to Canelo's fan base, basically the Mexican crowd, because the whole world knows their temperament. But in the end, just like I was telling this one dude who said, he was talking about the fight and, you know, Mexican fans got on his page and started being racist and stuff like that.
Bro, some of y'all Mexican niggas be really racist, bro. Like, this shit kind of surprising, bro. I just dropped the Canelo versus Crawford breakdown prediction, and I predicted Canelo to lose. You feel me? I think Bud's gonna wipe the floor with the nigga. And then I got so much Mexicans in my comments saying that Canelo's gonna beat the black off of Crawford, this and that. Like, damn, my nigga. We all in the same boat. Why are you being racist to us, cuz?
I was telling that young black fight fan, in the end, don't worry about it because they lose. You know, they're just too stupid, colonized, ignorant, and insecure about themselves to actually realize it. They are engineering their own doom, okay? Like I said, when Canelo retires, that's done for these Mexican boxers. They have nobody else, because instead of working on Canelo passing the torch to David Benavides, somebody that you're going to have to pass it to in order for Mexicans to stick their chest out because they have nobody else, since they blocked the only person that can garner them some respect, especially after Canelo has destroyed the reputation of the Mexican fighter, and they don't want David Benavides to get that fight, their ass is going to be left out on the curb because they have no one. So in the end, believe it or not, they're going to have to run to David Benavides for some legitimacy. You know? But they don't want to embrace David Benavides because David Benavides is too brown. Let's face it. We know what Canelo's fan base problem is. They obsessed with the people that conquered their mother and grandfather and raped their ancestors. It's embarrassing as hell, or at least it should be. You know, I ain't never seen a group conquered like this that's a laughing stock on their own. They don't even want to snap out of it. Everybody else snap out of colonization and eventually like they self and love their culture and stuff like that. These fools is obsessed with European DNA in their body. They dumb. So therefore they don't want to embrace David Benavides because David Benavides look too indigenous to them. David Benavides has braids and will rock braids. You know, that's what the Canelo fan base look at. They dumb, bro. They dumb. Whiteness has corroded their thoughts, their minds, and everything to the point they're so stupid enough to not realize they need Canelo to fight David Benavides, because without Canelo fighting David Benavides, how you gonna get you another Canelo? I mean, Canelo's already engineered as it is, and that's supposedly one of y'all best. Your best. And he's engineered. And that's your best. So what these other guys gonna do? What they gonna do? You guys gonna have to invent somebody. You're gonna have to create. You know what? The Mexican, you gonna have to do a Lomachenko with somebody. I mean, y'all been trying it already, but how many more leg ups can boxing give you? We let y'all cheat, whine, complain, be racist, not have to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many more handicaps y'all need? Y'all don't get no more sorry than what y'all already are. So in the end, they gonna have to come to David Benavides if they want some respect, because it won't be a Mexican fighter that they can talk about, which is messed up, because when you look at the so-called black fighters, the black fighters that they upset with, the black people that they obsessed with, they got a whole lineup of who's who that could be anybody at any given time. Any one of those guys could be a star or take over boxing. You can't say that with none of these Mexicans, especially since you don't feel that if they have to fight black fighters, then they won't make it to the level of Canelo. That's why you've been okay with the way Canelo moved. They accepted the artificial when it came to Canelo, and therefore he ruined everything, the reputation, how Mexicans are looked at. And look, they known as cowards, steroid using cowards. Eddie Reynoso is the most infamous Latino that team over, they gonna go down in the Guinness books of world records for having a team with the most dirty boxers on it. But it's okay, because Mexicans need the help, because they insecure as fuck, and boxing wants to pimp they insecure ass just like Floyd pimped they insecure ass, and that's why don't nobody say shit. They dumb, man. They dumb. So I get David, but David should have been more aggressive. He should have went a different route. You can't be afraid to go against Canelo Alvarez's fan base. Okay? You got to know how to say fuck somebody and stand on your square. Even if people don't like you, they respect that. You think that they liked Ali? They didn't like Ali, but they loved that Ali could stand on his square, and they recognize that. And in the end, a lot of people that didn't like them end up liking them just for standing on business. That's the truth. But anyway, say what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, I'm out.